Jetpack Compose is one of the most powerful tools in Android development, and Android developers spend a good amount of time in UI implementation and debugging the UI. Compose Preview could help a lot in such tasks if you understand these tools very well. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to use these tools effectively and combining different types of preview and having a solid preview for each of your screens or components. So stay tuned because I'm going to show you how to write the preview in Android Studio and see some example how it can help us on the right side of Android Studio with so many previews but save us lots of time. I chose Sunflower project as an example to show you how to change the preview. As you see here in this screen plant detail view, we have a very simple preview which is just one screen and it's using one preview annotation. And we want to change this in an advanced way with so many different variations of preview to make sure our UI implementation is correct. By the way, if you are not familiar with the Sunflower project, it's a sample project from Android team in Google. It's open source on GitHub. You can take a look at the project. It is a good example in different topics in Android development. You can take a look. It's just showcasing new features in Android development. In this case, I want to change this preview annotation to something more advanced to make sure our UI implementation is implemented correctly in different variations. For example, this one here shows the horizontal, and I want to see how this screen look like in landscape in different languages. What if the length of these texts are longer in different language? What would happen? What if the application get RTL from right to left? And so many more I will cover in this video. But for the start, I'm going to create a new file and show you how to have different type of preview and combining all of them together and using them in this preview function. I just create a file here and call it previews. I don't need the class name. The first thing I want to consider, as I mentioned earlier, I want to make sure my application is right in different sizes of application. The first thing I want to consider in the preview is screen orientation, if it's landscape or horizontal, or it's a tablet or normal phone. What I would like to do here is defining some specification for each device type. Let me create an object to include my device type. I call this device previews, and the first one could be a portrait phone. And what would be the specification? That would be a typical font size, and the orientation is portrait. And let me create another one for landscape and change this to landscape. Same for tablet, but we need to change the size to ensure we are previewing a tablet. For example, a tablet could be 800 width and 1280 height. And same for the landscape. That's the specification, and I'm going to use these in my preview function. And the device would be first a portrait phone, and let me give a name to that as well, which will help us in preview to know what kind of preview we have. Before continuing, I want to cover these into a custom annotation. I would call this device preview, and this will be any type will be covered in this annotation. And landscape, your landscape phone, same for tablet. This is the first preview I would think it is essential to have in the preview section, because I care about the different sizes, and if the application is landscape, everything is in the right position when we want to run application to make sure all the design is correct. And the next concern I normally see when application is released, the font size. You see some people use the application in a different font font size, and it doesn't come to my mind at the first glance. And with these previews, it's just so easy to create another preview to make sure the look of application and the component with a different font size are correct. So let me create another custom annotation font size preview. And on top, I want to include different type of font size preview. Like the first one could be a small version of font size. Let me make it a bit smaller. And font scale could be 0.3, and the top would be float. And the next one would be a normal font size. For the next scale could be double and also triple. You see some people enlarge the font size a lot, and the majority of space are taken by just the text, and we want to make sure even in those cases our implementation is correct. This is about the font size. And the next preview would be the language, which is very likely for different applications which are multilingual, to see the screen is implemented correctly and all the text are in the right position, in the right length when the application is in a different language. Again, I'm going to create another preview. I'll call it language preview and add a preview here. The name, the first one could be English, and the locale it's in. I added a few more language, German, French, and Persian as a special language to make sure the application is correct from right to left. This is for language, and the next one is for the theme. If application is in a dark or light theme, we want to make sure the coloring are correct. So I add another preview, and yeah, if we just set the UI mode to a night yes or night no to make sure to show both light and dark. And I think these would cover lots of cases for making sure the implementation of Jetpack Compose component are correct. And the last thing here would be how to use these all. We don't want to add, for example, here theme preview, font preview, which it does work. As you see, the preview is getting more and more, and you see the font size tricks is like that here, the dark mode, the light mode. But I want to merge all these together to just have only one preview annotation. And so for that, I create another annotation class. What should I call this? Like some flower preview, and add all the above previews in this, and the language is missing. So we covered all of this and we have sunflower preview. Instead, we can remove these. You see we have one preview, and now I'm going to add this preview and a bunch of preview for this plant detail view. You can see here, let me make it a bit bigger with different font sizes, dark, different languages. If the application is in landscape, and the Persian to see how the text and the direction look like in the application. And yeah, as you see, we covered a lot of cases, which is very important when you want to implement a UI. You don't really want to see any issue on UI when the application is released. This way it will cover the majority of cases simply by creating a custom preview annotation, and it does the job for you. And if you have a big application, simply add this code and this class into a top level, like if you have a UI related module, you can add it there and use it everywhere in your application, and every single screen or component could have this. And for example, this is another preview, which is just a simple component, and I'm going to change this to sunflower preview. Yeah, you see every case is being showed here, and then you're not worried about any special case if you missing it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video and you find it useful. If so, please like the video and subscribe to the Otaku channel. I put this code on GitHub. You can find it there. I will put the link in the description. If you have any question or comment about this way of UI implementation, write in the comment section. We can talk about that. And one thing else, I appreciate your support watching till this end, and see you in the next one.